Okay, guys, so we're moving on to snare. Now I'm gonna be completely transparent with you guys. The snare provided on these multi-tracks is pretty terrible. To be completely honest with you, there's not much I can say about that other than it is what it is. It's pretty bad, but I'm gonna try my best to show you guys how I would process it. But I did a bit of doing that already off screen, so that you guys know at the very minimum how I would at least try. But I'm gonna be completely straight with you guys. I'm gonna use a sample like on this. This requires a sample. Like there's no two ways about it. Like I can't deny that. So with that said, I did pull out a paid plugin. This is the only plugin I'm gonna use. I am sure that every DAW comes with a sample replacer. Studio One does, but I've used this one forever, and so I just wanted to be upfront. This is the only one that I used, and I picked up a sample. There's tons of free samples that you can pick out there. I think I used one called like the Inferno Kit or something like that for years. But in any case, I decided to use a sample for this. But I'm going to show you quickly what I did to get the natural snare drum as close as I did. I'm going to blaze right through it. With that said, I got my gate here, obviously, so let's bypass all of these and solo the snare top. So let me loop this section. So that's our gate. Just trying to cut some of the snare bleed out. And not doing a very good job of it, but in any case, here's a snare EQ that I did. I think it's better if I probably loop this section. So what I did was I cut 90 hertz off. I cut about everything above 12K just so that I can try to control some of the snare bleed. No boosting of the low end. I did cut out some papery sounds at 870 hertz. I'm going to show you what that sounds like. Had kind of a papery sound. I didn't really boost anything here, although it's typically you can boost some like 2 to 4K area to just see if you need some more crack in mid-range, but excuse me, I didn't end up doing that. And I'm doing a massive boost at 8K. If I take this off, it's gonna just die. The snare's not gonna even sound alive. So that's that. And then to try to control the bleed even more, I have this free analog Obsession transient designer. And I have it where it's boosting the attack and cutting out the sustain. And this is what this does. Pay attention to the bleed. I should have mentioned that. But yeah, really pay attention to the bleed. That's a really cool way to use transient designers. I just learned that a couple years ago, and it's come through in some cool ways before. So, yep, that's the transient designer, and then I have a compressor here. An 1176 recreation. You guys seen this one before? So yeah, it's a hyper dynamic snare, and that's what's really killing me over here. So then that was snare top. Here is the top of the snare, or the bottom of the snare. Here's the gate. Cool. Then I'm nuking it with this 1176 compressor from Analog Obsession. This is also free. I'm like tearing out a new one. The reason I'm doing that for this is because it's a cool way to add high end and sizzle, but it can get really harsh easily. So essentially, you want to just kind of crush it. We start with the fast attack, fast release. 8-to-1 ratio is a good place to start, and slam the wires down to increase the sustain, basically. And I usually shoot for a significant gain reduction until there's a lot of the transient left. And it's mostly just a wash of sizzle, and that kind of just helps this to give the top part of the snare some pretty cool high end naturally without having to boost much. I know it sounds like super wild, but it is what it is. So let me actually. So yeah, there's that. And then if we combine the both of them, and then in the mix. So that's how it sounds with the individual channels process, but then here's the bus. I have some clipping going on. It's not affecting the blast beats, mostly just the big sections here. And then I have some distortion to see if I can even get more life out of it. But as you can tell, we're having problems. Like it's not working out. Like it's just not happening. So I pulled up this snare sample. I'm gonna work with that instead, and see if I can get it to fly with the sample. So it already sounds infinitely better than what we got. All right, so let's go ahead and begin. We don't need to gate it because it's a sample, and I am going to pull up the SSQ. Gonna roll off maybe like 90 hertz, and I'm going to boost, let's try 8K, and then if it's too much, we'll sweep around and see what we got, but I'm going to do this in context of the mix. Sounds good. It can have a little bit more cut, so I'm going to see if I can boost, like maybe some 2.5K. See what we can get out of that. 3 dB is cool. And let's see if we can find some nasty stuff. sounds great. Okay, let's try to do some compression. So I'm gonna do 4-to-1. I'm gonna do about a slow attack with a moderately fast release. Cool. All right, let's add the clipping. All right, let's add some reverb. This is a stock plugin. A gated reverb. This is just to add some like length to it. It's almost mono, really. There's not a lot to it. And then this is the stereo reverb. So far, so good. I'm going to bring that down a bit. Cool, and snare is good. I'm going to see you guys in the next video where we do toms.